Welcome to the Effin' Brand of Wrestling and Entertainment here on YouTube.com and the World Wide Web, providing you with wrestling news, reviews, rumors, and insight you've grown accustomed to. My name is JC Styles, and I am back with the WWE TLC 2018 review. TLC went off the air just moments ago, and I have to say this was a pretty solid pay-per-view to end the year. I want to say I give it about 7.5 out of 10. There were two matches that I really didn't think should have been on the main card or shouldn't have even been a part of the pay-per-view, even on the pre-show. And it really slowed down the pay-per-view in my opinion. So we're going to get right into it. Starting off with the pre-show, we start off with Cruiserweight action. The Cruiserweight Championship was on the line when Buddy Murphy defended against Cedric Alexander. These guys tore the roof off Melbourne, Australia during the Super Showdown and during the summer, and this match was great. This match tonight wasn't as good, but it was still good. It was still enjoyable. These guys went out there and delivered and put on a great match. These guys have such a great chemistry in the ring with one another, and Buddy Murphy as a solo competitor is phenomenal. I really enjoy watching this guy in the ring perform because I don't know what it is about him. He just delivers. We wind up seeing him pick up the win via the Murphy's Law, and he retains his Cruiserweight Championship. Then we go into tag team action. No, I'm sorry, we do not. We go into Elias versus Bobby Lashley with the guitar on suspended above the ring. Whoever climbs the ladder and retrieves the guitar gets to use it as a weapon. This match was just really bad. Don't get me wrong, I like both Bobby Lashley and Elias, but this was a gimmick match. Didn't need to be a part of the show or the main show. This is like something that you would see on Monday Night Raw. As much as I like Elias and I like Bobby Lashley, like I said, I really didn't want to see this match. We wind up seeing Elias defeat Bobby Lashley, but they wind up using the guitar on Elias. I'm not really going to talk too much about that. Then the pay-per-view goes live at 7 o'clock tonight, and we wind up seeing a mixed match finals, which we saw Carmella and R-Truth take on Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. This was one of those other matches that I felt I know why it was a part of the show. It was enjoyable for a comic, for a comedian. You know what I mean? That was pretty much what the whole the whole match was about. We wind up seeing R-Truth and Carmella pick up the win, which now means that Carmella will be the 30th entry in the Women's Royal Rumble, and R-Truth will be the 30th entrant in the Men's Royal Rumble. Good match. Just like how on the main Mixed Match Challenge after SmackDown on Tuesdays, or I think it's Wednesdays, you got your wrestling, and then you have your moments where it's just funny. You definitely had that in this match. Then we had... Excuse me, trying to find my notes. Then we had the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship triple threat match with the New Day versus the Usos versus the Bar defending their tag team titles. And this match was great. Whenever you get the Usos and the New Day in the same match, you know it's going to be great. And the Bar just made it so much more. A lot of back and forth action. The match started off where they didn't really want to have the Usos into the match, and it was very great strategy. But the Usos wind up getting in there and really, riling up the crowd with their offensive maneuvers and their tag team maneuvers. And there was this one point in the match where they went super kick crazy, and they super kicked everything that was in sight. I honestly think if the referee would have gotten away, he probably would have got super kicked too. During the predictions, I said that I was leaning more towards the New Day or the Usos winning this match, but the Bar did wind up retaining their tag team championships, which again, I'm not really disappointed because they definitely performed well in this match. They definitely did really good. I think it was I don't want to say it was a 5-star match. It wasn't one of the best of the matches that these three have had together, but it was still enjoyable. It was still great. Still your SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions, The Bar. We then go into the TLC match. I believe it was a TLC match. It was Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. If Baron Corbin won, he would be the permanent Raw general manager. And if Baron Corbin won, if Braun Strowman won, he would get a shot at Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. We then see him come out with Heath Slater as they start the 10 count. As they get to 7, Braun Strowman comes out. He gets on the mic and he says, "What you fail to realize is that this match is a no disqualifications match. That means anything goes. And if anyone were to help Braun Strowman, that would be perfectly legal. And there was nothing that Baron Corbin can do about it." Then we wind up seeing everyone that got wronged by Baron Corbin come out. We got to see Gable and Rude. We got to see Apollo Crews, Finn Balor, Heath Slater, and we also got to see the returning Kurt Angle. They all wind up hitting their finishers on Baron Corbin and attacking Baron Corbin, and then Braun Strowman winds up picking up the win, and he gets his match against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, which I thought it was going to be later on. I thought it was going to be at Mania, but I guess they want to get that match taken care of because I think they have something else planned for WrestleMania. Although there's, really not much to talk about on that match because I kind of knew going in that they were going to plan something because Braun Strowman, even though that he could probably have went with one arm, he's not 100%, and I can understand why WWE doesn't want to push that issue. We then go into the Natalya versus Ruby Riott tables match. It started off slow. It took a little while to get to where it needed to get to, but then it started picking up, and I have to say that I was actually not looking forward to this match, but it actually caught my eye. It was actually pretty good. A lot of good storytelling leading up to it. Natalya finally got her revenge on Ruby Riott and the rest of the Riott squad in this match and wind up picking up the win. And she did it in such a fashion because she wound up putting on her father's coat during the last couple of minutes of the match, and she was smiling and laughing. Everything she was doing to Ruby, she was really looking like she was really enjoying what she was doing, and she wound up picking up the win. This was actually a really good match. I mean, for what it's worth. She winds up winning the match by putting Ruby through a table with Ruby's picture on it, which was kind of funny because Ruby was going to do the same to Natalya, but with her father on the table. We then go into Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre. And again, this was one of those matches where it started off slow. It took a little bit to speed up, but then once it got going, it was really good. A lot of back and forth. We got to see a lot of good wrestling. I really wish that these guys would have gone full force, right off the gate. Because that's the only really thing I have to say about that match was that it took too long to get to where I needed to get to for it to get interesting and to get good. But all in all, it was still a great match. These guys are amazing performers. And Finn Balor is an ordinary man that can do extraordinary things. And then we got the Scottish psychopath who is just a brute force to deal with, and he's just great. And I'm really hoping that moving forward WWE does more with him because I can honestly see him being Intercontinental Champion or maybe even Universal Champion. And we see Finn Balor pick up the win over Drew McIntyre in this match. This match, I really didn't want to see at all. Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. As much as I love Rey Mysterio as a wrestler, this feud has just been beaten over with a dead horse for years. They did this back in the day when Rey was in there, when he won the World Heavyweight Championship, pinning Randy Orton. Then they did it again, and then now they're doing it again now. It's just really boring. It's tiring. It's stale. And I didn't really care for this match, but Rey Mysterio wound up picking up the win. We then go into the Raw Women's Championship match. Another one that not a lot of people wanted to see because a lot of people wanted to see Becky versus Ronda even during this match, a couple of the fans in attendance were chanting for Becky, and we want Becky. And again, this was one of those matches where it took a little while to get to where it needed to get to, but when it did, it was really good. A lot of high impact offensive maneuvers by both Ronda and by Nia, but end result, Ronda retained over Nia Jax. Post match, after we see, they show the replay of everything that went on during the match. They show Nia Jax walking in the back, and Becky turns around and says, "Hey, you remember when you punched me in the face and you broke my nose?" And all of a sudden, just friggin' Becky just clocks Nia and just like slams her against like these equipment crates, and it was just like crazy because it's like you felt it when she punched her in the face. You felt it. Sorry. Then we go into the WWE Championship match. This match I thought was going to be a lot better than it was. It was a little lackluster. Definitely still good. There was a lot of storytelling going into the match, and there was a lot of storytelling during the match. But again, it was one of those matches where it was great wrestling, great submission wrestling, technical wrestling, and things like that. But it needed to be a little bit more quicker, and everything needed to be executed a little bit better. It took a little while to get to where it needed to get to be great. But all in all, it was a great match. I'm still not gonna knock it. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I just wish the execution would have been a little bit better for this match. But Daniel Bryan retains and is still your WWE champion. We then go into the Intercontinental Championship match, which we all know this match had a tremendous build-up for years. They talked about how the Shield had their very first pay-per-view debut in a six-man tag team match on this pay-per-view in 2012, and how we got to where we got to tonight with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, and it was just a good match. At some points, the fans were chanting boring, and I kind of agree. It took a while to get to where it needed to get to. And a lot of the matches, a lot of the big profile matches that they built up, it took a little while to get to where it needed to get to be interesting. During the match, a lot of the good storytelling was on commentary between Corey Graves and Renee Young. Corey just kept antagonizing her about her relationship with her husband Dean, and really just trying to poke and prod at her and try to get information out of her, and that really added to the overall batch. Now I think this match could have been a hell of a lot better. It could have been a lot more back and forth. It was, at some points it was one-sided. We got to see the buckle bomb on the outside of the ring, similar to what Seth Rollins did to Finn Balor in SummerSlam years ago. But all in all, it was still a great match. It could have been a little bit better. It was a little slow. It almost put me to sleep at one point, but I was able to muster and get through it, and it was a good match. Dean Ambrose did pick up the win, and he is your new Intercontinental Champion. So now moving forward, I want to know what they're going to do. Is Rollins going to want his rematch right away, or are they going to wait to the Royal Rumble? We'll have to see what happens. And then the main event of the night, the SmackDown Women's Championship Triple Threat TLC match. Great match. Great match. It brings it back to when I was doing my prediction video and how I said that I really like the direction that WWE is going with these, with the women's division, and how they're allowing them to get in the ring and do some of the high profile matches that the men are doing, like the Hell in a Cell, the Iron Man, the ladder matches, the steel cage matches, the Extreme Rules matches, last man standing matches, all these things. And this match was 5-star. It could not be, or it could have been executed a little bit better. There wasn't any botches, which Thank God, you know what I mean? Because this was the first time ever. You didn't want to have any of that. Everything was well executed. Everything was perfectly timed. Um, I would say that I wish the finish would have went smoother. The closing segments of the match. Before we get to the closing segments, well, no, we get to the closing segments. Ronda Rousey wound up coming up when Charlotte and Asuka were fighting at the top of the ladder. Becky came in and set up another ladder, and Charlotte knocked Asuka over off the ladder, stepped over to the other one that Becky was on, and Becky and Charlotte were going at it. Then Ronda comes out and tips over the ladder with Becky and Charlotte on it. And we see Asuka then take the opportunity to climb the ladder and grab the title, and she is now the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And I'm really happy for Asuka because I was wondering if they were ever going to put the title on her, because there was a lot of things going on backstage with Asuka in the WWE, because there was rumors that they didn't want to put her on the title because she couldn't speak very good English, and she needed to be able to represent the company and speak the language. But WWE finally did the right thing and put the title on her, because the thing is, she is really good. They needed something to turn her around, because honestly, in my opinion, she hasn't been the same since she lost that to Charlotte at WrestleMania earlier this year. And I know I'm not the only one that would agree with that statement. But I'm really glad that they put the title on her, because she's, as much as I didn't like her in NXT because she kept winning, when she got to the main roster, I really got behind her because she was really holding her own. She had a new pool of talent that she can get in the ring with, and she wound up being the sole survivor of her team last year at Survivor Series. She won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and now she finally got her title. I wish they would have given it to her at WrestleMania, but I digress. Now, what led up to Ronda doing what she did, they had a segment backstage with Natalya, and she was telling Natalya how happy she was that she got, her revenge on Ruby Riott and the Riot Squad. And Charlie Caruso stepped up, and she pretty much basically, I had a couple questions for her, and Ronda said that I still have 2 scores to settle with Becky and with Charlotte. Charlotte being how Charlotte attacked her at the end of the match at the Survivor Series, and then how Becky attacked Ronda the Monday night before Survivor Series. So guys, with that being said, leave your comments in the comment box below and let me know your thoughts and opinions on what you thought of the TLC pay-per-view tonight. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications on when new content is uploaded from us here at the Efren Brand of Wrestling and Entertainment here on YouTube.com. Also, please stay tuned for more content. I will have a Monday Night Raw review up for you tomorrow night, and a SmackDown review as well. So, guys, like always, thank you. Stay tuned. Have a great night, and have a safe early morning Monday commute.